It's another overcast and sort of dismal day here in the garden, and I've just been out checking the hives for queen cells, which means that the bees are not very happy with me, especially with it being as overcast as it is. And I've got a couple of chickens down here who are trying to tell themselves that because the blossoms arrived on the apple tree and the ground is littered with blossom petals, that summer must be on the way. But unfortunately, the sky's telling us a different story. But summer is going to be on the way. Summer is going to be on the way pretty soon. Lots of things happening, lots of beautiful flowers, lots of colour coming, all the greenery again coming up the pear tree. All the deciduous baby trees coming out with their beautiful leaves. The comfrey just coming again everywhere. The bee action is a combination of me going through the two outside hives. The one closest to us with the strap on it was the first swarm hive this season, and I've just been through there checking for queen cells and making sure that they've got enough space, because we're just having a terrible time with swarms this season, and I really would rather that I could manage this hive so that it doesn't swarm. So I'm doing my best, but they are very unhappy about having had me in there, and the fact that I think it's probably going to rain in about an hour doesn't help, but I have to get in there while I can at this time of the season. So someone asked me recently, nice to get some feedback on YouTube, someone asked me recently if I would show them how I make my syrup from my lemon balm. So I thought, since it's such a nasty day, we might look at that. Two little trees I haven't talked about down here. They are Camellia sinensis, and they are wrapped up to stop the chickens from digging their roots out. So these are true tea trees, and I have a hedge of them out the front of the house, but I had two left, so I thought it would be nice to have one growing on either side of the hoop house, but it's very difficult to stop the chickens from digging up the roots of everything, because they do like burrowing around in the bark here. So this is my solution for the moment, and it seems to be working reasonably well. The hoop house is such a joy. Things are coming away. It's time to be getting rid of the old and starting with the new. So there's some beetroot here that are bolting. We've just been eating a few of the leaves of them, and not that very good at growing beetroot roots, but we eat a lot of the leaves. And we've got broccolis there that I've had the heads out of a couple of them, and I'm taking the sprouts off the side at the moment. So a lot of these things will be cleared out, and you can see that we've got an array of seedlings at the back there that are ready for me to start potting on. A lovely job to do this weekend while it's raining. And the main attraction today is, of course, the lemon balm down here, Melissa officinalis. She is a wonderful herb, and I love her very much, and we are going to collect some of her. Actually, you can see here before we get to Melissa, I've got a little tomato here that is flowering already, which is kind of early because it's still October in New Zealand. And here's another one doing the same thing down here. We've got lots of little edible flowers in the background. My dandelion doing its thing. I just keep pulling the flowers off, and the little tiny white flowers you can see around them are the lamb's lettuce going to seed, so I will have an abundant supply of them next spring as well. One of the wonders of just allowing your garden to do what it wants to do. But anyway, we're in here about Melissa, and she is growing beautifully in here, as she does. She'll grow beautifully anywhere you'll allow her to grow. So what we're going to do is harvest some of her. I'm just checking, it feels a little feathery. What have we got here? No, here is our Melissa officinalis. This is cat mint that has got in here, so cats will be wanting this. So we'll whip some of that out for the cats, but we are interested in this lovely here, and we're also going to have to fight our way through the pea sprouts that are continuing to grow, and we've got some nice little pea pods for our salads here now too. So things are going well down here. I'll just set you up so you can see what I'm doing. And I still can't resist showing anybody who cares to look at the amazing plantain that's growing here. Look at these beautiful seeds here. Pollen. So these can be, apparently, can't say I've tried it, and perhaps it's time to. These can apparently be cut and steamed like asparagus. So there's something interesting and new for me to try very soon. I would normally only take a third of the top of the plant when I am harvesting, but with Lemon Balm, she just grows so quickly that you probably don't have to worry about that. And the other thing that I always do when I'm harvesting a herb is I always harvest with intent. So I never come and harvest herbs when I'm in a bad mood or when things are not going well, because I like to think that while you're working with the herb, you're putting some of your own energy into it. And so it's always nice to come and work with a herb when you're feeling reasonably happy. Actually being out with this herb, with the central herb, when you cut it and can't do anything but help you feel happy. And so I could pretty much cut Melissa here down to the base and she would come away. And I'll probably end up doing that again, but it's nice actually just to clear some of these from the path area, even though I have got all those beans and all those peas in here that I showed you. But it's nice just to cut some of these long stalks away from the path area so that I can get to the rest of the seedlings at this time of the year. There's a little bit of water coming through the roof at the moment because you can probably hear the rain, and I may have to voice over this again anyway. So I normally harvest my herbs in the morning when the dew is dried. That's the traditional time for harvesting, but you can always think about different times of when you want to harvest your herb for what you want to use it for. And you can always harvest on the moon, if you love following the cycles of the moon, or in here it's pretty easy to harvest at any other time. If you're wanting to dry the herb, obviously you wouldn't be harvesting in the rain like this, but because we're protected, it's not actually an issue for us. So that's the harvesting of the herb. I can tell you that she smells beautiful, and we will move inside and I'll show you how to prepare it. Okay, so we're inside out of the rain, which technically makes life a little bit easier for us. Now I like to use these quart preserving jars for making my potions, and I enjoy these because they've got measurements on the side which make life a little bit easier for me when I am trying to work out exactly how much herb I'm going to use. Now, as you can see, the herb has been left to wilt for a little while, and what that does is it takes a little bit of the liquid out of it, which probably seems counterintuitive when we're actually going to pour boiling water on top of it to make basically a very strong tea. But it just means that we're getting a little bit more of the constituents of the herb. So it doesn't really matter how you prepare them. You can cut them finely, or as I'm doing here, just taking to them roughly with a pair of scissors. It's just a matter of breaking up the material and getting it into the jar as you need to. Because what we're trying to do is give the hot water a good chance to get to more of the surface area of the herb so that we can extract more of the water-soluble constituents. So there we go. We'll just race you through the rest of the processing of the material so you don't have to sit here getting bored watching me possibly almost 3/4 fill the jar with the material. So once you've got your jar full as far as you'd like to fill it, as I say, it's somewhere around the 3/4 mark or a little bit higher if you want a stronger decoction, then you're going to have some boiled water on hand. Don't make it too hot. I like to make my teas with water just off the boil, and you can see the kettle's been sitting there with the hot water in it, and then it's just a matter of filling up your jar, topping it up with hot water, and then pushing something down the sides just to get some of the air bubbles out. And what you'll find is that as you fill your jar with the hot water, your material will immediately start to absorb some of it. So give it a little bit of time, get some of the air out of it, and you'll likely just have to top it up again. So just top it up right to the top of the jar, then pop your preserving lid on and screw that top down. By now that jar's getting a little bit hot, so if you need a cloth to hold that, that's fine. And what you may be able to see here is that the whole jar is now full of material, and I'm going to leave that for at least 4 hours. You can leave it up to 12 if you like. And here I have on hand another bottle of material that I've made. This has had the honey infused into it. So you can do this with honey or sugar, but the important thing is the measurements of the honey or sugar that you put in. So I like to make a 1:2 ratio. And so what that means is that I've got 2 parts of the tea and 1 part of the honey or sugar that I put in there to preserve it. And there you have it. It's that simple.